Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Station Valiant. His hands gripped the metal railing as he watched the space battle unfold on the main screen. The last human ships were fighting hard, but they were losing badly. "Captain." Lisa Blake's voice crackled through the radio from her ship, the Defiance. "Admiral, we can't hold them much longer. They have too many ships." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. Around him, his crew worked at their stations, trying to help the ships below. But everyone knew the truth. Earth was about to fall, the alien fleet stretched across space like a dark cloud. The Zephyrians had come with thousands of ships. Their gray vessels moved in perfect formation, firing bright red beams that cut through human ships like they were made of paper. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Commander Alex Park from his station, "the aliens are jamming our communications." "They're trying to cut us off from Earth." Jake nodded. He had expected this. The Zephyrians wanted to make sure no one could call for help. Not that help was coming anyway. Earth's other colonies had already fallen. Mars was silent. The moon bases were destroyed. Only the Defiance and a few smaller ships remained. On the screen, Jake watched as alien fighters swarmed around Blake's ship. The Defiance was Earth's most powerful battleship, but it looked tiny next to the alien motherships. Red laser beams hit its shields again and again. "Blake, get out of there," Jake said into his radio. "You've done enough." "Negative, Admiral," Blake replied. Her voice was steady, but Jake could hear the strain. "We're not running. Earth is counting on us." The Defiance spun around and fired its main guns at the nearest alien ship. The blue beams hit the enemy vessel's shields, but barely made a dent. The alien ship was 10 times bigger than the human battleship. Jake's communication officer, a young woman named Sarah, looked up from her station. "Admiral, we're getting reports from Earth. The aliens are starting to land troops in major cities." Jake felt his stomach drop. This was it. The final invasion had begun. On the main screen, the Defiance was surrounded now. At least 50 alien ships had formed a circle around Blake's vessel. They were playing with her, like a cat with a mouse. "Admiral," Blake's voice came through the radio one last time. "Tell Earth we did our best. Tell them we never gave up." The alien ships opened fire all at once. Red beams came from every direction, hitting the Defiance from all sides. The human ship's shields flashed bright white, then blue, then disappeared. Completely. Jake watched in horror as the Defiance broke apart. The explosion was massive, lighting up the darkness of space. Pieces of the ship scattered in all directions. Captain Blake and her crew of 300 people were gone. The bridge of the Valiant fell silent. Someone was crying softly. Jake couldn't tell who. "Sir," Alex said quietly, "the aliens are broadcasting something. It's going out on all channels." Jake straightened up. "Put it on screen." The image changed to show the inside of an alien ship. A tall, gray creature with 4 arms stood in the center. Its black eyes stared directly at the camera. This was Warlord Kextai, the leader of the Zephyrian invasion force. "Beings of the galaxy," the alien spoke in perfect English. "Witness the end of human resistance. Their strongest ship has been destroyed. Their homeworld is defenseless. Let this be a lesson to all who would oppose the Zephyrian Empire." The screen showed the explosion of the Defiance again and again. The aliens had recorded it from multiple angles. They were making sure everyone in the galaxy saw humanity's defeat. Jake felt anger rising in his chest. The aliens were celebrating, like they had won some great victory. But all they had done was destroy 1 ship and kill 300 brave people. "The humans thought they could fight us," Kextai continued. "They believed their primitive weapons could match our technology. Now you see the truth. The human species is weak. Their planet will be harvested. Their people will serve us or die." The Broadcast switched to show alien ships landing on Earth. Jake could see the familiar blue and green of his home planet, now covered with gray alien vessels. Smoke rose from the cities. "Sir," Sarah said, "we're getting a coded message. It's from Mars." Jake looked at her in surprise. Mars was supposed to be destroyed. "Mars? Are you sure?" "Yes, sir. It's Dr. Helen Carter. She says Project Lazarus is active." Jake felt a small smile cross his face. Finally, some good news. He walked over to Sarah's station and took the coded message reader. The words on the screen made his heart beat faster. "Jake," the message read, "I know you're watching their celebration. Let them enjoy it. The Defiance did exactly what we needed. All sensor data was transmitted successfully. We have everything we need to know about their fleet. Phase 1 is complete. Activate the hidden protocols. It's time to wake up the sleeping giant." Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him, waiting for orders. They all looked defeated, like they had lost everything. But Jake knew better. The real fight was just beginning. "Attention all stations," Jake said into his communicator. "This is Admiral Morrison. Authorization code Alpha 77. Project Lazarus is now active. All hidden units report status." One by one, voices began responding over the radio. Voices that were supposed to be dead. Voices from places that were supposed to be destroyed. Jake's smile grew wider about the aliens. Thought they had won. They had no idea what was coming for them. Colonel Ryan Torres stood in the secret command center deep inside Mars. The room was carved out of solid rock, hidden from any alien sensors. Around him, dozens of officers worked at computer stations, their faces lit by the glow of screens. "Show me the fleet status," Ryan said to his aide, a young officer named Danny. Danny pulled up a holographic display in the center of the room. Hundreds of green dots appeared, floating in the air like stars. Each dot represented a human ship. Ships that the aliens didn't know existed. "All vessels report ready, sir," Danny said. "The Jupiter fleet is at full strength. 250 ships, including 12 dreadnoughts." Ryan nodded. For 20 years, humanity had been building this fleet in secret. While the aliens watched Earth's outer colonies, human engineers were working in the shadows of Jupiter's moons. They had used the giant planet's gravity to hide their construction yards. "What about Commander Sullivan's special projects?" Ryan asked. "The new ships are ready for testing, sir. The gravity drives are working perfectly. The aliens won't be able to detect us until we're right on top of them." Ryan smiled. The gravity drives were humanity's greatest secret. While the aliens used primitive rocket engines, human ships could now bend space itself. They could appear anywhere in the solar system without warning. A door opened, and Dr. Helen Carter walked in. She looked tired but excited. In her hands, she carried a datapad filled with information. "Ryan, we've got everything we need," Helen said. The Defiance transmitted complete scans of the alien fleet before it was destroyed. "We know their ship, designs, their weapons, their shields, everything." Ryan took the datapad and looked at the information. The alien ships were powerful, but they had weaknesses. Their shields had gaps. Their weapons had blind spots. Most importantly, their computers used technology that human hackers could exploit. "How long do we have?" Ryan asked. "The aliens are landing more troops every hour," Helen replied. "But they're being careful. They think Earth might have hidden defenses. They're moving slowly." Ryan laughed. "They're right to be careful. They just don't know how right they are." On the other side of the room, a communication officer raised her hand. "Colonel, we're getting a report from Captain Hughes on Earth. The resistance is ready." Ryan walked over to the officer's station. "Put him through." The screen showed Captain Ben Hughes hiding in the ruins of New York City. His face was dirty, and he looked exhausted, but his eyes were bright with determination. Colonel Torres. Ben said, "We've got alien patrols all over the city. They're setting up command posts in every major building. The good news is, they're not being very careful. They think we're beaten." "Perfect," Ryan said. "Keep them thinking that. How many people do you have?" "About 5,000 in New York alone. Major Davis reports another 3,000 in loss. Angeles, altogether, we've got resistance cells in every major city on Earth." Ryan nodded. The resistance was actually a carefully planned intelligence operation. Every person in the resistance was a trained soldier or spy. They were feeding information about alien positions back to the hidden fleet. "Ben, remember the mission," Ryan said. "Let them capture some of you. Let them think they're winning. We need them to feel safe." "Understood, sir." Hughes out. The screen went dark. Ryan turned to Helen. "Are you sure our ships can handle their weapons?" Helen smiled. "Ryan, their weapons are designed to fight other alien ships. They've never seen anything like our new technology. Our shields work completely differently from theirs. Their red laser beams will bounce right off." Ryan walked to the main display, showing the alien fleet around Earth. Thousands of gray ships surrounded the planet like a swarm of insects. They looked invincible. "What about their motherships?" Ryan asked. "Those things are huge. Size isn't everything," Helen replied. "We've learned that their big ships are actually weak. They need lots of smaller ships to protect them. If we can get past their escorts, the motherships are sitting ducks." Danny looked up from his station. "Sir, we're getting reports from our spy ships. The aliens are celebrating. They're sending messages back to their empire, telling everyone they've conquered Earth." Ryan's expression grew serious. "They're making a mistake. The first rule of war is never celebrate until the enemy is completely defeated." Helen pulled up another display. "We've been monitoring their communications. They're planning a big ceremony tomorrow. They want to show off their victory to the whole galaxy." "A ceremony?" Ryan asked. "Yes, they're going to execute captured human leaders on live television. They want every species in the galaxy to see humanity's defeat." Ryan felt anger rising in his chest. The aliens were planning to kill innocent people just to make a point. But then he realized something. This was exactly what humanity needed. "Helen, this is perfect," Ryan said. "If they're broadcasting live to the whole galaxy, then the whole galaxy will see what happens when we fight back." Helen's eyes lit up. "You want to interrupt their broadcast?" "I want to do more than interrupt it," Ryan said. "I want to show the galaxy what humans are really capable of." Danny looked confused. "But sir, if we reveal ourselves too early, we'll lose the advantage of surprise." Ryan shook his head. "Danny, surprise is just one advantage. Fear is another. When the galaxy sees what we can do, every alien species will think twice before attacking Earth." Helen pulled up a tactical display. "The alien fleet is spread out around Earth. They're not expecting an attack. If we hit them all at once, from multiple directions, they won't know what hit them." "How long do we need to get the fleet in position?" Ryan asked. 12 hours, Helen replied. "Commander Sullivan's ships can be here in 6 hours using this thing. Gravity drives. The rest of the fleet will take longer." Ryan nodded. "Then we have 12 hours to prepare. Send a message to Admiral Morrison. Tell him to get ready for the biggest show in galactic history." Helen smiled. "What should I tell him?" "Tell him that tomorrow the galaxy is going to learn why you don't mess with humanity." As the officers worked around him, Ryan looked at the display showing Earth surrounded by alien ships. Tomorrow, those ships would be nothing but scrap metal, floating in space. The aliens thought they had won the war. They had no idea the war was just beginning. Captain Ben Hughes crouched behind a broken wall in what used to be Times Square. The alien patrol was getting closer. He could hear their heavy footsteps and the strange clicking sounds they made when they talked to each other. "Stay down," he whispered to his team. "Let them pass." 5 gray aliens walked by, their weapons scanning the rubble. They were looking for human survivors to capture. Ben waited until they were gone, then activated his hidden radio. "This is Hughes to base. Alien patrol just passed our position. They're heading toward the subway tunnels." Colonel Torres' voice came through the radio. "Copy that, Ben? Are you ready for Phase 2? Ben looked at his team. They were all good soldiers, but they looked tired and scared. That was exactly what they needed to look like. "Ready as we'll ever be," Ben said. "Remember, everyone, we need to make this look real." "Major." Claire Davis was hiding in the ruins of Los Angeles. She had been watching the alien command post for 3 days. The aliens had taken over the city hall and were using it as their headquarters. "This is Davis to all units," she said into her radio. "The aliens are getting comfortable. They've stopped patrolling at night. They think we're too weak to attack." Her radio crackled with responses from resistance cells across the city. Every major city on Earth had groups like hers. Groups that were pretending to be desperate survivors while actually gathering intelligence. "Major," said one of her soldiers, "a young man named Tony. The aliens are bringing in more prisoners. Looks like they caught some people trying to escape the city." Claire raised her binoculars and looked at the alien command post. She could see human prisoners being led into the building. Her heart ached for them, but she knew this was part of the plan. "Tony, get ready to transmit," she said. "We need to send their positions to the fleet." Meanwhile, in space, Admiral Jake Morrison was preparing for the most important battle of his life. The hidden fleet was moving into position around Earth. Ships that had been hiding behind moons and asteroids for months were finally coming out of the shadows. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Commander Alex Park, "all ships report ready. The Jupiter fleet will be here in 2 hours." Jake nodded. On his main screen, he could see the alien fleet surrounding Earth. They had spread out, thinking they were safe. They had no idea that hundreds of human ships were closing in on them. "Sir," said his communications officer, Sarah, "we're picking up alien broadcasts. They're planning something big." "Put it on screen," Jake said. The image changed to show Warlord Kextai standing in what looked like a courtyard on Earth. Behind him, Jake could see human prisoners kneeling on the ground. His blood ran cold when he recognized some of them. They were government leaders, scientists, and military officers who had been captured during the invasion. "Citizens of the galaxy," Kextai said, "today you will witness the final defeat of the human species. These are their leaders, their scientists, their warriors. Watch as they beg for mercy." Jake felt rage building in his chest. The alien was planning to execute innocent people on live television. But then he realized something. This was exactly what humanity needed. "Sarah, can we interrupt their broadcast?" Jake asked. "Not yet, sir. We need to be closer to override their transmission." "Then we get closer," Jake said. "All ships, begin final approach. It's time to show these aliens what humans are really capable of." Back on Earth, Ben Hughes was leading his team through the subway tunnels. They had let the aliens capture 2 of their people, but those soldiers were actually volunteers. They carried hidden transmitters that would help the fleet target alien positions. "Ben," came Claire's voice over the radio, "the aliens are moving all their prisoners to central locations. They want to make sure everyone can see the executions." "Copy that, Claire." "How many prisoners do they have?" "Maybe 1,000 people. Across all the major cities. They're planning to kill them all." Ben closed his eyes. 1,000 innocent people were about to die unless the plan worked perfectly. The pressure was enormous. "All units, this is Colonel Torres," came the voice. Over the radio. "The fleet is in position. In exactly 10 minutes, every alien on Earth is going to regret coming here." Ben looked at his watch. 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, the galaxy would see the true power of humanity. On the alien mothership, Warlord Kextai was preparing for his moment of triumph. The execution would be broadcast to every planet in the Zephyrian Empire. Other alien species would see it too. Everyone would know that humans were weak and defeated. "Begin the broadcast," he told his communication officer, all across the galaxy. Billions of beings turned their attention to the transmission from Earth. They expected to see the final defeat of the human race, but something went wrong. The broadcast signal suddenly changed. Instead of showing the alien warlord, the screen showed a different image. It showed the bridge of a human ship. Admiral Jake Morrison appeared on every screen in the galaxy. Behind him, the view screen showed space filled with massive human ships, ships that no one had ever seen before. "This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the Terran Defense Force," he said calmly. "You wanted to broadcast human defeat. Instead, you're about to witness the greatest counterattack in galactic history." The camera turned to show the space around Earth. Where there had been empty space just moments before, now there were hundreds of human ships. They were huge, gleaming silver vessels that dwarfed the alien ships. "All ships," Jake said. "Begin Operation Payback." The human fleet opened fire. Beams of pure energy lanced out from every ship, hitting the alien vessels with devastating force. The aliens' shields, which had easily stopped human weapons before, were useless against these new weapons. Alien ships began exploding all across the solar system. The gray vessels that had seemed so powerful were being destroyed like toys. Earth, Ben Hughes and his team watched the sky light up with explosions. The alien ships in the atmosphere were being torn apart by the human fleet. "My God," whispered Tony. "Look at them go." The alien command posts were in chaos. Aliens were running in all directions, trying to figure out what was happening. There, communications were jammed. Their ships were being destroyed. Their perfect invasion was falling apart. Major Claire Davis led her team out of hiding. "All right, people. Time to stop pretending. Let's show these aliens what human soldiers can really do." All across Earth, the resistance revealed their true nature. They weren't desperate survivors. They were trained soldiers who had been waiting for this moment. They had weapons hidden all over the cities. They knew exactly where every alien was located. The aliens found themselves surrounded by enemies they thought were defeated. The humans they had been hunting were actually hunting them. In space, Admiral Morrison watched as the last of the alien motherships exploded. The entire invasion fleet was destroyed in less than an hour. "Open a channel to the galaxy," he said. The broadcast resumed, showing Morrison's face to billions of viewers across the galaxy. "Let this be a lesson," he said. "Humanity doesn't start fights, but we sure know how to finish them." The galaxy would never underestimate humans again. The human fleet moved like a pack of wolves. Admiral Jake Morrison watched from the bridge of his flagship as hundreds of ships swept through the alien formation. The Zephyrians had spread their ships across the solar system, thinking they were safe. Now they were trapped. "All ships, target the command vessels first," Jake ordered. "We need to cut off their communications." Captain Rodriguez commanded the massive dreadnought Thunderbolt. His ship was twice the size of the largest alien vessel, and its weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Thunderbolt 2. "All ships," Rodriguez said over the radio. "We're going after the big one, that mothership in the center of their formation." The alien mothership was enormous. It was shaped like a giant gray triangle, with thousands of smaller ships clustered around it like protective flies. Red laser beams shot out from its surface, trying to hit the approaching human ships. But the human ships moved in ways that seemed impossible. They twisted and turned through space, avoiding the alien weapons with ease. The gravity drives that Dr. Helen Carter had helped design allowed them to change direction instantly. "Rodriguez, be careful," Jake warned. "That mothership has enough firepower to destroy a planet." "Don't worry, Admiral," Rodriguez replied. "We've got a few surprises of our own." The Thunderbolt opened fire with its main guns. Blue beams of energy shot out, hitting the alien mothership's shields. But these weren't the same weapons the aliens had seen before. These beams passed right through the shields and hit the hull directly. The alien ship shuddered under the impact. Explosions rippled across its surface. The smaller ships around it began to scatter in panic. On Earth, Captain Ben Hughes was leading his team through the streets of New York. The alien soldiers who had been patrolling the city were now running for their lives. Their command ships in orbit were being destroyed, leaving them stranded. "Ben, this is Major Davis," came Claire's voice over the radio. "The aliens in Los Angeles are trying to retreat to their landing ships." "Should we let them go?" "Negative," Ben replied. "No one leaves. We can't let them report back to their empire about our real capabilities." Ben's team surrounded a group of alien soldiers who had taken shelter in a destroyed building. The aliens were tall and gray, with 4 arms and black eyes. They looked scared, which was something Ben had never seen before. "You are surrounded," Ben called out in their language. "Surrender now, and you won't be harmed." The aliens looked at each other in confusion. They had expected the humans to be primitive and weak. Instead, they were facing soldiers who spoke their language and used tactics they had never seen before. In space, Commander Kate Sullivan was leading a squadron of the new gravity drive ships. These vessels were smaller than the main fleet, but they were incredibly fast. They could appear anywhere in the solar system within minutes. "Sullivan to Morrison," she said over the radio. "We've located the alien supply ships. They're trying to escape to the outer system." "Stop them," Jake ordered. "We can't let any of them get away." Kate's ships moved like ghosts through space. They used the gravity drives to appear right next to the fleeing alien vessels. The aliens didn't even have time to react before their ships were destroyed. But the real surprise came when Dr. Helen Carter activated her secret weapon. From the research station on Mars, she sent out a signal that reached every alien ship in the solar system. "What's happening?" asked Lieutenant Commander Alex Park. "The alien ships are shutting down." Jake smiled. "Dr. Carter's computer virus. We've been studying their technology for months. Now we're using it against them." The virus spread through the alien fleet like a disease. Ship after ship began to lose power. Their weapons stopped working. Their shields failed. Their engines died. "This is impossible," Warlord Kextai said from his command ship. "How do the humans know our technology?" His communication officer, a young Zephyrian named Vex, looked up from his station in panic. "Sir, we're losing contact with the entire fleet. Our ships are being destroyed faster than we can count them." Kextai couldn't believe what he was seeing. The humans were supposed to be primitive. They were supposed to be weak. But these ships were more advanced than anything in the Zephyrian Empire. "Send a message to the homeworld," he ordered. "Tell them we need reinforcements. The humans are not what they seem." But it was too late. Alex Park intercepted the message before it could be sent. "Admiral, the aliens are trying to call for help." "Should I jam their communications?" "No," Jake said. "Let them call. I want their empire to know what happened here." The message reached the Zephyrian homeworld, but it wasn't what Kextai had intended. Instead of a call for help, it was a recording of the human fleet destroying the entire invasion force. Other alien species across the galaxy were watching too. The species that had been planning to attack Earth after the Zephyrians were finished now realized they had made a terrible mistake. "Admiral," Sarah said from her station, "we're getting messages from all over the galaxy. The Draxans want to negotiate. The Voltan Empire is offering a peace treaty. Even the Hive Collective is asking for diplomatic talks." Jake nodded. The plan was working perfectly. By showing their true strength, humanity had gained respect throughout the galaxy. In the asteroid belt, the last of the alien ships were being destroyed. Captain Rodriguez watched as the enemy mothership broke apart, its massive hull splitting into pieces. "Thunderbolt to all ships," he said. "Threat eliminated. The solar system is clear." On Earth, Ben Hughes was accepting the surrender of the last alien ground forces. The soldiers who had been so confident just hours ago were now prisoners, begging for mercy. "Major Davis," Ben said into his radio, "how's the situation in Los Angeles?" "All clear, Ben. We've got about 5,000 alien prisoners. They're all asking how we defeated them so easily." Ben smiled. "Tell them it's because they underestimated the wrong species." Dr. Carter was reviewing the battle data from her station on Mars. The human fleet had destroyed over 3,000 alien ships without losing a single vessel. It was the most one-sided victory in galactic history. "Helen," came Colonel Torres' voice over the radio, "the fleet is requesting permission to pursue the surviving alien ships." "Negative," Helen replied. "We've made our point. Let the survivors go home. Let them tell their people what happens when you attack Earth." The few alien ships that managed to escape carried a message that would spread throughout the galaxy. Earth was not to be underestimated. Humanity was not weak. Admiral Morrison appeared on screens across the galaxy one final time. Behind him, the wreckage of the alien fleet floated in space like a graveyard. "This is Admiral Morrison," he said. "Today, the galaxy learned an important lesson. Humanity values peace. We prefer to trade rather than fight. We want to be friends with other species." He paused, looking directly at the camera. "But if you threaten our world, if you attack our people, if you try to conquer our home, you will face the full power of the human race. And as you can see, that is not something you want to do." The broadcast ended, but the message was clear. Earth was off limits. Humanity was now a major power in the galaxy. The age of human expansion was about to begin. 6 months after the battle, Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center of humanity's first space station in former Zephyrian territory. Through the large windows, he could see human ships patrolling the space lanes that had once belonged to the alien empire. "Admiral," said Captain Rodriguez, who had been promoted to station commander, "the diplomatic convoy from the Ultron Republic just arrived. They're requesting permission to establish a trade route through our space." Jake smiled. "Grant them permission. The Ultrans have always been peaceful. We have no problem with them." The galaxy had changed completely in just 6 months. The Zephyrian Empire had collapsed after news of their defeat reached their homeworld. Other species that had been oppressed by the Zephyrians were now free. Many of them wanted to become allies with humanity. Dr. Helen Carter walked into the command center carrying a datapad. She looked much happier than she had during the war. Her research teams were now working on peaceful projects instead of weapons. "Jake, I've got the latest reports from our exploration teams," she said. "We found 17 habitable planets in former Zephyrian space. All of them are uninhabited." "Perfect," Jake replied. "How soon can we start sending colony ships?" "Captain, Lewis has volunteered to lead the first expedition. His ship, the New Horizon, is ready to launch next week." Jake nodded. Captain Lewis was a good choice. He was experienced and careful, Exactly what they needed for humanity's first interstellar colony. On Earth, Major Claire Davis was working with the United Nations to establish the new Galactic Defense Force. The old military had been designed to fight other humans. Now they needed a force that could defend Earth from alien threats. "Major," said her assistant, a young officer named Lisa, "the recruitment numbers are incredible. We've got volunteers from every country on Earth." Claire looked at the reports. Over 1 million people had volunteered to join the new Space Force. Engineers, soldiers, scientists, and pilots all wanted to be part of humanity's expansion into space. "The training facilities are ready," Claire said. "We can start with 50,000 recruits. The best ones will crew our new exploration ships." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Commander Alex Park was working in the intelligence division on Mars. His job was to monitor communications from all over the galaxy. What he was hearing amazed him. "Colonel Torres," he said over the radio, "you need to hear this. The Voltan Empire just announced they're dismantling their invasion fleet. They say they want to focus on trade instead of war." Ryan Torres, now promoted to general, was pleased but not surprised. "Any word from the Hive Collective?" "Even better," Alex replied. "They're offering to share their medical technology with us. Apparently, they're very interested in our gravity drive technology." The Hive Collective was a species that had been neutral in most galactic conflicts. They were known for their advanced medical knowledge. A technology trade with them could help humanity cure diseases and extend human life. Captain Ben Hughes was now in command of the orbital platform above Earth. His job was to coordinate the defense of the homeworld. But these days, there wasn't much to defend against. Then came a message from the surface. "The Chinese government is asking about establishing a mining colony on Europa. They want to know if it's safe." "Tell them it's perfectly safe," Ben replied. "We've got patrol ships throughout the solar system. No one's getting close to Earth without our permission." The solar system had become a fortress. Human ships patrolled every planet and moon. Advanced sensor networks could detect any alien vessel before it got close to Earth. The homeworld was safer than it had ever been. But the real change was happening in the galaxy itself. Dr. Carter had established research stations on dozens of worlds. Human scientists were making discoveries that would have taken centuries if they had been limited to Earth. "Helen," came a message from the research station on Kepler 442b. "We found something incredible. The soil here contains minerals that don't exist anywhere else in the galaxy. We could use them to build ships that are even faster than our current ones." Helen smiled. Every week brought new discoveries. Humanity was learning more about the galaxy than they had ever imagined possible. The former Zephyrian homeworld was now under human protection. The gray aliens who had once been conquerors were now refugees. But humanity had treated them with mercy. "Admiral Morrison," said the Zephyrian leader, a female named Zara, "my people are grateful for your kindness. We expected you to destroy us after what we did to your world." Jake looked at the alien leader. She was young, probably taking over after the older leaders were removed from power. "Zara, humans don't believe in genocide," Jake said. "Your people made a mistake. You can learn from it and do better." "We have learned," Zara replied. "We want to help rebuild what we destroyed. We want to earn your forgiveness." Jake nodded. "Actions speak louder than words. Show us that you've changed, and we'll consider it." The Zephyrians had begun sharing their technology with humanity. Their star charts were helping human explorers find new worlds. Their agricultural knowledge was helping human colonies grow. Food in alien soil dot, but the most important change was in how other species viewed humanity. The galaxy had always been ruled by fear. The strongest species conquered the weaker ones. But humanity was different. "Captain Rodriguez," said the ambassador, "from the Crystalline Confederacy. Your people have done something remarkable. You've created peace through strength. Other species respect you because you're powerful, but they trust you because you're fair." Rodriguez smiled. "That's what humanity is all about. We're strong enough to defend ourselves, but we prefer to make friends." The Crystalline Confederacy was one of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. They had seen empires rise and fall for millions of years. If they respected humanity, it meant something. General Torres was overseeing the construction of humanity's first interstellar battleship. The vessel was enormous, larger than any ship ever built, but it wasn't designed for conquest. "General," said Commander Sullivan, who was now Chief of Ship Design, "the Peacekeeper is ready for its first mission. Where do you want to send it?" Ryan looked at the star charts displayed on the holographic table. There were reports of pirate attacks in the Outer Rim territories. Several small species were being terrorized by raiders who had once served the Zephyrian Empire. "Send it to the Tau Ceti system," Ryan said. "The Aquarian colonies are under attack by pirates. Let's show them what happens when you prey on innocent people." The Peacekeeper launched 3 days later. It was humanity's message to the galaxy. "We will protect those who cannot protect themselves." News of the ship's mission spread quickly. Species throughout the galaxy watched as the massive human vessel arrived at Tau Ceti. The pirates took one look at the Peacekeeper and surrendered without a fight. On Earth, President Martinez was addressing the United Nations General Assembly. The old woman had led humanity through the darkest days of the invasion. Now she was helping guide the species into a new age. "Fellow citizens of Earth," she said, "6 months ago we faced extinction. Today we stand as the protectors of peace. In the galaxy, this is not a responsibility we take lightly." The assembly hall was packed with representatives from every nation on Earth, but there were also alien observers. Species from across the galaxy wanted to understand how humanity made decisions. "We will continue to explore," President Martinez continued. "We will continue to defend ourselves and our allies, but we will never become conquerors. We will never become the thing we fought against." The speech was broadcast to every human colony and to allied species throughout the galaxy. It became known as the Earth Doctrine. Humanity's promise to use their power responsibly. Dr. Carter was reviewing reports from the deep space exploration missions. Human ships were now traveling farther than any species had ever gone. They were mapping regions of space that had been unexplored for millions of years. "Admiral Morrison," she said over the communication system, "the Deep Space Team has found something incredible. There's a region of space beyond the galactic rim where the laws of physics seem to work differently." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" "Time moves slower there. A ship could travel for years and only age days. It could be the key to exploring other galaxies." Jake felt excitement building in his chest. Humanity had conquered their own solar system. They had become a major power in their galaxy. Now they were looking at the possibility of traveling to other galaxies entirely. "Set up a research mission," he said, "but be careful. We don't know what's out there." Meanwhile, Captain Lewis and his colony ship had arrived at their destination. The planet they had chosen was beautiful, with blue oceans and green continents. It looked remarkably similar to Earth. "This is Lewis to Earth Control," he said over the radio. "New Eden is everything we hoped for. The atmosphere is perfect. The soil is rich. We're ready to begin construction of humanity's first interstellar city." The colonists began unloading their equipment. Within weeks, they had built a small town. Within months, it would be a thriving city. Within years, it would be the capital of humanity's first interstellar territory. Back in the former Zephyrian space, Admiral Morrison was meeting with representatives from dozens of alien species. They had come to discuss the formation of a new galactic government. The old empire ruled TH,